Once again, it's on. Hi, it's Lorenzo Thomas of the Sports Brothers, and welcome to Review and Preview. Super Bowl 54 was amazing, and of course, the Sports Brothers were everywhere. Right now, we're going to check in with Jeff Fox, who is talking to Chris Broussard, who had a big golf tournament during the Super Bowl week. What's going on, Jeff?
Thank you, Lorenzo. We are here once again at the King Foundation Celebrity Tournament. We are here with the man who created the entire movement, one Chris Broussard, Fox Sports, good friend.
What's up, brother?
Welcome back to the 305, man.
Always good to be here.
Absolutely, absolutely. Tell me what moved you to start this King Foundation.
Well, I started 8-9 years ago. I became a Christian my senior year in college, and I longed for that brotherhood. You know, as men, we need male bonding. You see it in the athletic teams. I mean, that's one thing guys love most about being on a basketball team, a football team, is the interaction and the camaraderie with your teammates. We see it in fraternities, we see it in lodges, you know, just in various other ways. And so I long for that brotherhood. And I'm in a frat, so I have brotherhood in other aspects, but spiritually based brotherhood with guys that I could relate to in terms of music, culture, sports, just lifestyle things, but who also shared my faith. And so as I'm dealing with them in those aspects, they're going to be encouraging me in my faith, and I can encourage them in their faith, and that can help keep both of us stronger. So that's one reason that I said, you know, let me kind of start up a Christian men's brotherhood. And I also saw that a lot of guys needed that, because a lot of guys were shaky in their walks with the Lord. And I thought a lot of it had to do with them not having that brotherhood and feeling like they out there by themselves doing it, trying to, you know, fight the good fight, so to speak. And so those are some of the things that led me to start the King movement. And we've grown to 12 chapters throughout the country. We have a national men's conference every spring. We had it in Atlanta 2 years ago in honor of Dr. King's assassination, 50th anniversary of his assassination. We did it in, Memphis 2 years ago. We did it in Atlanta last year, and then it'll be in Charlotte this year, March 27th and 28th.
Okay, so you had the golf tournament today, obviously, early start. How's your game, man?
My game is weak. I'm not even gonna lie. I mean, I golf once every 6 years. I mean, seriously. But I gotta be honest. First of all, I love best ball. Best ball is the way to play. Otherwise, I'm out there all day. But best ball is fun, and that's what we play. And I for myself, I hit it well today, and I hit it well the last time I played about 3 months ago. So for some reason, I'm getting better, even though I'm not practicing, not playing a lot. But I was happy with some of the things I did. I made a 20-foot putt. I drove the ball well. My short game was pretty good. You know, I had some bad shots here and there, but I did pretty well for my standards.
You can hoop it up a little bit.
I can hoop. Yeah, I can hoop. That's a whole different animal than this.
No doubt, no doubt. I would be remiss if I did not congratulate you and Rob on being in the top 20 sports talk shows in America. How does that feel? A year and a half in, folks?
Yeah, it feels great. I mean, the show, we've been getting nothing but compliments about it. You know, we still, like you said, a year and a half into the show, and when callers call in, they still, I would say still, 75% of the callers start off with, I love this show. And that we've been on for a year and a half, and they're still saying that. So, you know, Fox Sports Radio has rebranded the show. We have the new logos. They're animated. It's kind of like a cartoon.
I dig those.
Yeah, because the show is, as you know, you've listened to it, it's fun. And so they wanted to bring that about in the presentation of it. So that's a good sign. And so it's great. Rob and I, we've known each other 27 years. Rob Parker, my partner. And you know how it is in radio. You've been doing it long enough.
Yes.
There's a either you have it or you don't factor in there. And we couldn't try to create the chemistry we had. We just had it.
Right.
And so it's worked, and that's, I think, what people are responding to. So, you know, it's great to be in the top 20, and, you know, hopefully we can rise even higher in the years to come.
Chris Broussard, Fox Sports, The Odd Couple. Chris, remember, the last few days for us, I've never seen anything like this in my life covering sports. And you covered the NBA for many, many years. I remember Thurman Munson's plane crash. I remember Dale Earnhardt. Pat, I've never seen anything like this. Have you?
No. And as you mentioned a few, Roberto Clemente, I was a small child, but I do remember that. Len Bias.
Yeah.
The closest I would say for me, and for a lot of people, certainly basketball fans, was Magic Johnson contracting HIV. But thankfully, that's become kind of a redemption story for Magic.
Yes, it has.
He's obviously still living. He looks like he's in great health. He's active in the community and in the country. I mean, he's done tremendous stuff since he got HIV. So that's been a great story. But this, no. I mean, I felt like everybody else. I was devastated. I couldn't believe it. Kobe Bryant is an immortal in basketball.
Yes.
And you kind of felt like he's going to be an immortal, period. Like he's always going to be a part of the fabric of our country. And just sometimes even now, and I think that he's gone. Like he's not coming back.
Yeah.
The finality, the suddenness, it's hard to accept. And so I'm glad the Clippers and the Lakers canceled or postponed their game.
Yeah.
I don't think the Lakers were ready to play. And some people had talked about could have been a time of celebration to celebrate Kobe and his greatness and his life. And I was like, I don't think they're ready. Like I honestly was like, I think people want to be sad for a little while. Like, I'm not talking about months, but maybe 5 days, a week, whatever it may be. Like, until you begin to come out of it. And for those that, don't know Kobe and all that, can get back to kind of their lives. But for a little bit, I think people really want to feel a sadness, miss him before you go to the next level, which is celebrate all the great things he was able to do when he was here.
In terms of basketball, I think about Len Bias definitely because I was incredibly sad as a youth when that happened. And I think about the player that fell on the court.
Hank Gathers.
Hank Gathers, thank you.
Yep.
Big Bang Hank Gathers, man. And we realize our sports heroes are human beings.
Right.
And definitely this is very, very tough to take. You look around the NBA today, this was their Michael Jordan.
Oh, no question. I mean, and he played like Michael Jordan. I mean, he mimicked Michael Jordan. He had the grace of Michael Jordan. Kobe did moves that other guys did, but they looked better when Kobe did it, just like Jordan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that was a part of the attraction to him was how good his game looked too. In addition, obviously being incredibly effective, he had the killer instinct like Jordan.
Yes, he did.
I mean, he was really kind of like the second coming of Michael Jordan. And just like people say LeBron is similar to Magic Johnson. And so it's just, man, it's tragic. And, you all, and even more so than just losing a great basketball icon, his family, I mean, with his daughter, Gianna, and you just pray for his wife and kids and his other extended family, parents. And I've suggested, I've said it on TV and radio, that I think the NBA should retire numbers 8 and 24. Now, there are other things they could do. Some people have talked about the logo. Some people have talked about maybe you name an award, the MVP award, the Larry O'Brien trophy, the championship trophy, maybe something like that.
I think he needs something really significant like that.
Oh, yeah, he definitely, because this is unprecedented in NBA history. I did First Things First with Nick Wright on Monday, and he brought up the fact that only of all the players to ever win the MVP award in the NBA, only 2 are not alive, and that's Moses Malone and Wilt Chamberlain.
Wow.
And they died in their 60s, so they had, they lived a relatively full life.
Right.
And Kobe, of course, was cut down right in his prime. And that's the first time a superstar, an icon for the NBA, was cut down in his prime. And so I agree. I think something really incredible needs to be done. So we'll see what it is. And the NBA does a good job with these types of things. So I think it'll be good, whatever they do. But it'll be interesting to see what they choose to do.
Final one for you, Chris Broussard here from Fox Sports on the Sports Brothers, Jeff Fox, Lorenzo Thomas. The Miami Heat. I didn't expect this.
Oh, no, nobody expected this, except maybe Jimmy Butler.
I don't know if it's the Jimmy Butler impact or is it Eric Spoelstra's brilliantness, but how did this happen? And what would you add to this team?
Well, first of all, I think Eric Spoelstra is doing a tremendous job, and I've said in the past he's a very good coach. I said he wasn't. I didn't say he was a great coach, and I got a call from the Heat on that, and I was like, look, I think he's a very good coach. I'm not saying he's not a good coach. He's a really good coach, but I'm not ready to give him greatness. But the way he's coaching this year is great. He is doing a phenomenal job. I got to give him his props. And look, Jimmy Butler is fantastic. I thought for some reason, some strange reason, they had Jimmy Butler listed as a front court player for the All-Star game. I would have had him starting at guard alongside Kemba Walker, with all due respect to Trae Young, who I did end up voting for. But I think Jimmy should have been the starting two guard next to Kemba at point. But they had him listed in the front court. He'll obviously make it. I voted for Bam Adebayo as a reserve. I voted for the starters. I didn't vote for reserves. But I think he should make it as a reserve. We'll see if he does. And they've got great depth. And here's the other thing, and this is a credit to Spo and the players. When you play hard in this league, night in, night out, and you play like a team, you can win a lot of games. Now, I'm going to be honest. I don't give them a chance to win the East in the playoffs. Now, maybe they can get to the conference finals. I think that'd be a tremendous year. I don't think they could beat Milwaukee. I think Toronto's trouble as well. Philadelphia, I would think, would beat them. Boston's going to be right there. So it's a tough road for them to hold. But this is a surprising season, and this is a building block. What would I add? I mean, what you tend to say is another star, because if you look at the teams that are going to compete for the championships, they've got multiple stars. I mean, Milwaukee's got Giannis, but Chris Middleton's a legitimate all-star.
50 the other night.
Right. So you need, and even though Bam may make the all-star team, I think you need another bona fide scorer that can play with Jimmy. And look, the dynamic changes when you bring in guys like that. Like in Boston, when Kyrie went there, the dynamic changed. When LeBron goes somewhere, the dynamic changes. If they bring in another star, the dynamic may change, and you'll play more through those two stars rather than an egalitarian way of playing like they do now, getting everybody the ball and touches. But that's part of the growth process. So, I've been very impressed with what they've done, and we'll see. I mean, I think they should make the second round. Although, again, it's some teams on their level, and these will be tough. But I'm looking forward to seeing what they do in the playoffs.
It's my man, Chris Broussard. So we think there is a chance. I think we got more. I think we got a bunch of chance. We got shooters.
You got more of a. You got more hope, faith than me. But I get it. It's been a little drought since LeBron left. But
my man, it's good to see you again.
Always good to see you.
Keep up the great work with the foundation.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Back to you, Lorenzo.
Thank you so much, and keep it locked in right here to Review and Preview with the Sports Brothers.